I got some help today and we're doing the rear brakes on the Alfa Giulietta. So the fronts were done, they're big Brembos, they're nice and easy. The rear's just single piston caliper, so it shouldn't be too hard. A few things we need. We got rotors, we got fresh pads, a couple wrenches. I think we need a 15 or a 13, and same with the sockets. Pad spreader, we probably don't need that to push it away, but not too bad. And of course, some brake cleaner. So we'll start taking things apart. So first thing I want to do is get around here. There's a little tab to lift, and that is your brake pad wear indicator sensor. So we'll just have that disconnected. And this will be just lightly clipped in the wire. So we'll be popping that down and that off of the little tab here, which is just, I think it's just pushed back. It's going, come on. Now, almost up, there it is. Okay, so that's the pad wear sensor, and you can see these rotors are pretty horrid. There's a bit of a lip, but they're just super rusted, and there's hardly any, see that? Hardly any pad left, so these are well past their due date. Now to get this off, we need a 5mm Allen here, a little hex. So that's easy enough. Might need a little bit of, oh, it's loose. If it doesn't come loose, it might need a bit of penetrating oil, but that's easy enough. Just so we can get that out now. And then we need to get bolts off here. Now that's a 13mm, easy enough. And then you got to hold it with a 15mm wrench there. See that nut there? So that's not hard to do. So we'll grab the two tools and, okay, now it's filming. That might be really tight, which it is. There we go. So that broke, and we can just put that there to hold it. Okay, that's out. That is free, and we can do the bottom one now. Same as the top. Okay, this one's a bit different. So I'm going to need two wrenches, one on either side. And I think that's it's a 15 there and a 13 there. So I'm going to grab my 13. I'll just see if I can get it moving first. I don't know. That is not a 13. It's definitely not a 15, no. Okay, well, I need a different size wrench, and I need a 14, but let's see if I can move this. Yeah, that moves, okay. So it's a 13mm you need here, but it's got to be very thin through here. So this is just a very cheap old one I got from somewhere. You need to use that to get it out. I think this big vibration dampener is good for something. Okay, put these bolts together. Go, and the caliper is free. It's not too dirty, which is good. Okay, I still need to pull these little pins. They're still nice and greased, and the rubbers are good. Okay, that was the bottom one. I'll put them in the order to take them off. Now these pads are, that had it. Yeah, not a lot left on these pads. They are done. make note, the inside pad is the one that had the wire. So now these look like, they're the originals. So they've done 85,000 Ks and they are just getting to the sensors. Okay, now you got these clips here, which I'm going to go screwdriver and pop out. And then we can take the rest of this caliper retainer off. And we need that. We need big, are they Torx? No, the big, they look like 10 mil on the inside. So I'll grab some of them. Allen key, and I probably need a breaker bar. Might not, but I think I will because they're usually torqued on pretty good. Come on, get in there. There we go. Okay, broke that one loose easy enough. Let's do the top one. Where is it? There it is. Got a better angle to see it here. There we go. And that one's cracked. Okay, that's that bolt out. And just keep them in order with the top to the bottom. There we go. I think they're the same bolts anyway. Yep, same bolts. Take off the carrier. There we go. Now that will give that a little bit of a clean up just to make it look pretty. And fit our new pads. But first, we're going to take the rotor off. And that's going to take a bit of a hammering, I think. And it's going to take more than that. Okay, yeah, you can turn it on. Okay, real hammer time. That thing was rusted on, so we get the wire brush and give that hub a clean. That is some, oh look at that, that's the back end of it, just pad hardly touching. Okay, that's going in the trash, and we'll give this a clean up. Now, just a comparison, okay, that's the pad that came on it, so it's done about 85,000 kilometers, very thin. New pad. Slightly thicker by a lot, so yeah, the rear brake should actually do something now. That's going to be a nice change. Okay, so we're going to wire brush, just cleaning the rust off the hubs. There's some weird bumps of rust where there was holes in the other rotors, so I'm hoping that doesn't interfere. So that should be fine. Okay, now to make it easier for next time, not that it'll probably be us, just got some copper anti-seize, and I'll just put a little bit on there. Don't have to do this, but it's just nice to get it on there, so removal the next time is easy. A little bit around there. Okay, now we'll be ready to refit the rotor. Okay, with the hub got some anti-seize on there, got our new rotor. And we're just going to, now we're using DBAs, Disc Brakes Australia. You follow our channel, you know we use them all the time. Not because we get them free or cheap or anything like that, but they've been really good. So really good on all of our track cars and stuff. So we keep on using them. Now, get that in position. There is a little hub retaining screw hole. There's big holes for the, where is it here? There we go, I think that's about right. Get that back in there. Just helps locate it. Doesn't have to be real tight. Actually, is that the right hole? It's not really going in there. Crank it in. All right, I'll grab the ratchet and put it in. Put that on and torqued it to whatever newton meters it's supposed to be. I'm not sure. I don't have a manual to check, but yeah, all the other holes are lined up, so that will fit neatly, and we can start mounting the caliper and the pads. All right, just to get everything ready before we get it in place. Caliper, pin grease, and we'll wipe off some of this old grease from here. Now these boots look fine. If they were torn, we'd be replacing them. And if these were pitted or corroded, we'd be replacing them too, but they are fine. That one's fine anyway. Let's do this one. This one looks good too. So clean those up. And load it up with some fresh stuff. I'll be ready for until the next brake change. Okay, now we'll just get everything ready to go back in. Clean that off and do it again. Side. We're gonna have to wind that pad back, and to do that we got to pop the bonnet. So we'll pop the bonnet and we will open the cap of the brake fluid reservoir. Hopefully it doesn't overflow, but I don't think it will. So we don't have the pad spreader I have. It's a pretty simple screw type one. What you do is you get it between the right there. See, it fits in nice and neat. So it's sitting on the piston, and then we start winding it on, and it should hopefully turn everything back. But sometimes they have to be turned as well when you wind them. So if that's the case, I hate this. Okay, this is the locking screw type that we have to turn as well as compress. So we'll back this off. And we have to turn this with some big pliers as we compress it in. Lots of fun. Okay, got some big channel lock pliers. Careful not to get the dust boot. And you gotta like screw it back. Such a pain, but that's okay. And that's what we gotta do. I think we gotta push it back at the same time. Or they just screw in, I can't remember. Yeah, just screw them in. Very careful not to get the rubber boot stuck here, because you don't want to tear that and have to replace it. Okay, I wound that back pretty far, and now I'm going to get the carrier, which is here, and we'll bolt this on, and that way we're ready to get the pads in and slide the caliper over it. Okay, so touch of Loctite, and we'll I'm all back to front here. What happened? There we go. Where is it? Come on. There we go. Let's get that finger tight and then we'll crank him in. They weren't super tight, but I will get them with the pry bar just to make sure they're nice and snug. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of the pin guide grease up in the channel up here that the pad sits in, just to make sure it keeps moving. And I got to be careful not to get it on the rotor that we just degreased. There's the top and bottom, and of course both sides. Now I always do wipe down the rotor one more time before bedding any brakes in or anything, so we'll do that of course, but if we can keep a bit off now, it'll be better than having to clean lots off later. Okay, lots of grease on there. Quick wipe of the hands so we don't put grease on our brand new pads. Now the reminder, the one with the wire goes on the inside, and that should just slot into the little carrier. Where is it? Come on, go on in. That's in. And I got my other pad. Pads are in. Now a little bit of grease on the back of the pad can help with squealing sometime, but this is the side that the piston's on, so I'll just put a little bit on there. And this side gets pushed against the metal, so we'll put some on anyway. You can use copper grease and all sorts of different stuff. Okay, now this bolt back on. We will, hopefully that piston's pulled back far enough, otherwise we've got to give it a little bit more. Ooh, a little pad shim popped off. Is that back on? Yeah, there we go. And that has to go way back. Needs to be a lot farther back than that. I think, how much further? Yeah, it's got to go further back. It's got about a centimeter to go. So we'll wind that back a bit more with those channel locks. So I got to screw this in a little bit with the channel locks without grabbing the boot, while using this pad press to press it in a little bit. And that's getting it in quite a bit faster. I know there's a tool, a proper pad tool to do this, but I don't have one. And the shops are closed because it's Saturday evening. Now I wonder if that's far enough. Okay. I just slid those pins in, snapped them over. Now, so remember, they're all nice and re-greased. And then the caliper just fits. There we go. Okay, now we can put those other bolts back in wherever they went. Here they are. So I'll get another bit of, looks like there was some Loctite on there, so I'll put another bit of Loctite on these. Reach it, there we go. Just a little dab of Loctite. There wasn't much on this before. And I'll put some on that weird one with the dampener. Okay, put those in and we'll tighten them up again with the 13 and 15 mils wrenches and reconnect our, is that in there? Yeah, it's just spinning good. And then we'll reconnect our pad wear sensor and give it a little wipe down. And that's the rear brakes. I'm pretty much done. So that has been wiped down again. Brake sensor wire is reconnected, clipped in, all bolted down nice and tight, and that is a rear brakes on an Alfa Giulietta done.